so excited.
Alright, so the big day.
Yep, big way day.
Big way day. We've been a little bit anxious about this day, haven't we?
We have. Where's the second here?
The big number we're looking for here is our GCM number.
Yes.
Which is 6.4 tonne. So we've got the new Sunseeker here, the Desert Storm, and we've got the new Ranger, and we're here with Dave. We're here with Dave from Evaluate.
Yeah.
Who's going to weigh our rig for us, and we have our fingers crossed. I think we're going to be okay.
I think we are. We've culled so much
we're going to be
from
okay.
the other van.
Yeah. So 6.4 tonne is the number.
Because I want my happy place, because then I can bring my paddle board and
that's it.
Things we haven't been able to have.
I think we're going to be okay. I want to be able to carry a bit more water than we did last time too. So
you're about the water, I'm about the social activities.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get cracking. I'm a bit nervous.
Why?
I don't know.
Soke's helping.
He's writing all the numbers down.
Hey, puppy. Okay. Riley.
Hey.
We're not going anywhere, darling. You don't need your seatbelt on. We're just getting weighed.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. We're under, baby.
That's exciting.
So,
we're underweight. We're underweight. I don't have to lose any weight. No more diets. Hey?
Yeah.
This didn't really end well.
All right, so I think we got a silver medal. We didn't really get the gold. Is good. So that's under by 150 kilos.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're under quite a bit, so which is good. But what's interesting, and I haven't quite figured out why yet, the mass of the Caravan was over by about 100 kilos. Now we've already rectified that by moving stuff out of the van
into the boot
of the car, because the car still had plenty of room. It's plenty of weight, didn't it?
It did, but it just defeats the purpose of having that storage in the van. So I'm a bit upset about the fact that we've had to go back to how we were by having stuff in the car and not in the van. So
what we've got to do, we've got to go home and figure out what hardware we can take off the van.
That's always fun. So we're going to start stripping things off the van to give us the weight to be able to put mainly our camera gear. We just don't want to leave that in the back of the ute, just because at the moment it's not a lockable part.
Yeah, that's right.
And we don't want to add a lockable one, because then that adds more weight.
That's right.
To the car. So yeah.
And also, I'd still like to travel with some water too. So
yeah,
we'd have to figure out. I mean, as I thought, we were never going to be able to travel with full tanks of water unless we had a Ram or something like that, which we don't really want. I don't want a Ram.
I mean, we like them, but just from the day to day, we just wanted a car not so big, and I don't know. Who knows what happens down the track? But
we're going to go back to Sunrise Beach. We're there for a few more days before we leave, and we're going to start taking stuff off the van. That'll be an interesting video. You'll probably hear a few swear words.
Oh, there's already been plenty.
So we got a silver medal. Like right now we're underweight because we've moved everything. We've just did a bit of a trial period. So right now we're legal.
It's just that what we would prefer, we want to now go and start taking things off to make it so it's, I don't know, so our home is the way.
I'm a bit surprised, to be honest, because I weighed everything that went into the van. So
I know, that's why.
The only thing, and I honestly thought would be under by about 100, but we were over by 100. So the only way that could possibly have worked, if maybe the tear weight
not
on
a
the
true
plate
reading.
is not correct.
Yeah, it's not a true reading. So, and even he said that as well.
It happens.
It happens a lot. So, I guess that's for people, you know, advice for people down the track. As soon as you get your van, brand new, go weigh it, because we actually did it.
We didn't do that. That was our bad.
And then we just didn't get round to doing it, did we? Because you know it's our home. We just started putting things in it. So anyway, that was a lesson learned.
Yeah,
but
we should have done that. But
we always do, but we haven't. So I guess this time round it's a heavier van, which we know we've got lots of solar, like a lot of things. We've got also the airbags. You know, there's lots of stuff that's added weight. I think that we. But again, you were just going off the weight.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
that's right.
This is why we do it. So we're very safety conscious.
So I still reckon we got the silver medal.
Maybe.
Didn't get a gold medal.
No.
Yeah, sorry,
anyway.
But I got a gold medal with you, baby.
Did you want that? I've been so stroppy. So upset.
We'll talk about that later.
He's very patient.
All right, let's get cracking.
We've got work to do.
Okay, see you soon.
See ya.
So we are on our way to our storage unit at Coolum. We've had a very interesting day today, haven't we, babe?
Yeah.
So the day after the big weigh, we had to eliminate some weight out of the van so we could become legal. But we have actually eliminated 159 kilos or something.
I think it was 161.
161, yeah. So we've actually done really, really, really well. So the stuff, we've broken it up into two parts. So stuff we've taken out of the caravan permanently, that's going into our storage shed. And we'll show you our storage shed when we get there. It's a bit of a...
It's an absolute mess. It was so organised to a point, but now it's a disaster.
So we'll show you what it looks like. And then the other half was stuff that we need to move out of the caravan into the car while we're travelling.
Yeah.
So basically our tunnel boots are empty now in the van, aren't they?
Permanently.
Yeah. Well, while we're travelling anyway.
Yeah. Which is what we're doing permanently.
Yeah. So when we're actually travelling, our tunnel boots would need to be empty in order for us to be legal.
To be towing it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like you were saying yesterday, it's the best case scenario to be over in the caravan, because at least we can just move our stuff around and put it into the back of the car, and luckily we have a ute, not a... Like what we're gonna get, we're gonna be in disaster zone. So we're very grateful everything's worked out the way it has.
Yeah, well, we're better off having it this way than having a GCM over.
Yeah.
Because basically that would mean that everything would just have to go.
We have no room to move.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess we've got a lot less stuff.
Yeah, it's a very clutter-free van now.
I mean, we've done so well as it was inside, but then it was more the tunnel boot stuff and that extra bit of storage.
I must say I was surprised I was overweight, because I weighed everything when it went into the van.
Oh no, you drove me mad doing that.
And as long as the tear weight was what it says it was on the plate, it doesn't really make any sense that we were over by 130 kilos, whatever it was.
Well, you've done some research, but that's a whole new video.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
You've done some research, which was very interesting.
At the end of the day, it is what it is. So we just need to. We want to stay legal, so we just got to. Just do what we have to do. So at the end of the day, it would mean that we can only really travel with very little water, if any at all. So we will travel with some, but
jury's out on that one still.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll work it out. We'll work it out.
I've managed to take enough. I actually sacrificed a whole bunch of clothes because I had too many clothes anyway.
Yeah.
And I can still take my thermi, so I'm very excited about that.
So the Thermomix is still coming. We haven't eliminated the bikes or anything like that, so...
Yeah.
So, anyway.
We've eliminated stuff that we sort of just wanted to take, not stuff that we needed to take.
Exactly.
And that makes such a big difference when you start, sifting through the needs and the wants, and you're like, wow, there's such a small amount of needs compared to wants. It's crazy.
And we've just done a big shop too, so... when we got weighed, we were pretty much at the absolute maximum that we would be. So we had a full tank of fuel. We had to sit at a massive shop. We would have full gas tanks. Yeah. So obviously over time that fluctuates up and down. So.
But we wanted to have it at that top point, like everything full, fridge full, cupboard full, everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Anyway, we'll show you what the storage shed looks like when we get there. It's a bit of a giggle.
I don't know if I want to. It's dangerous. It's dangerous even opening the door. And we've got a boot full of stuff in the back of the ute right now that needs to also find a home in there.
Yeah. Well,
So I have a feeling I'm going to be climbing mountains in there and trying to feed stuff down the back of our stuff.
oh well, I don't know what we're going to do with this storage shed. We need to do something about it, but
I just want to sell it all.
yeah. Well, anyway.
Someone's still too attached.
Well, let's go.
Funny. Yeah, like, why am I doing this in your video? How does that work? The funny part will be on battery video, you putting all this into the shed. So, good luck. Head hurts. It's your turn now.
What am I
Away you go. Start climbing. This section here used to be the section I would use to go up to get stuff that we needed at the top. But because we keep coming back and taking stuff out of the caravan, we now have so many bags. Does it ever actually stop?
You might have to go up.
That's not a ladder. Are you kidding? Oh my god. Alright.
You're hysterical. Good luck, baby.
Hey, ready? This is like Spidey Man. 1, 2, 3.
Baby. You're excited, baby. Look at you go. They gotta get down from there.
You're gonna catch me.
All right.
Right. We're okay.
Success.
We survived.
All right.
Hard at work. You got muscles, baby. It's quite fun.
We thought that we would today take you through the power system in our van.
Yep.
And try to explain to you how it works and why it works for us and why it could be overkill for other people, and try to give you a little bit more information on what a battery is and what a watt is and all that sort of stuff from the science teacher point of view.
So I'm going to just be behind the camera because I have no idea. All I know is that we run off pretty much off grid. We've been plugged in once for a few days, just at my brother's place. Other than that, we have literally been living off grid for a month.
Yep.
Really,
Yep,
haven't
it's
we?
been really good.
And the power source has been amazing. Our water consumption's been incredible, having this extra tank just for drinking water.
Yep.
I don't know, the battery system's just
been
something
great.
that, we have to show you. You've got to see it and you'll be like, wow, okay, that's a lot. But
it's pretty good.
we
I'm
are
pretty impressed.
loving it. So
Yeah.
I reckon we just get stuck into it.
So we're actually in the van at the moment, and we're sitting on the couch. So I wanted to show you the couch.
Oh, yes.
So probably, I don't know if did we show them this in the last video?
No, we talked about it, but we, yeah.
So this is our lounge room mode. So we've got the table down, and we've got our extra cushion. And it's in this mode because the kids, we're at Rainbow Beach at the moment. Not Rainbow Beach, we're at Kenilworth at the moment. And the kids are going to come in here and watch the movie later on, so they can sort of lounge around in the lounge. But the actual battery system is under this lounge. So we're going to take it apart, and I'm going to show you. Now, there are two bits, or two main parts to the battery system. All right, now, the first main part are the batteries. So I'm going to get you to have a look at this. So look at these. These are absolute monsters. All right, now there's two 300 amp lithium batteries here. So these are Enerdrive batteries. This is the second van we've had when we've had Enerdrive batteries in it. The other van we had were two 200s. This has got two 300s. Now these are lithium batteries. So in a Caravan there are two different types of batteries really. There's lithium, which is these ones, and AGM. Now the main difference between them is they just work on a different chemistry. I won't bore you about what all that is, but basically a battery is basically just like a container that holds power. All right, so the power can be generated a number of different ways, and it all goes into these two batteries. Okay, so we've got two batteries connected together, and we've got 600 amps. So what that means, it just means how much power you can hold. So an amp is just a unit of power. It has 600 of those. Now the difference between this and say an AGM battery is that with a lithium battery you can run this down to practically zero. Okay, so you've got 600 amps, you can basically use 600 amps of power, maybe a little bit less, but let's say 590 amps worth of power you can use in your van. With an AGM, if you had 600 amps of AGM batteries, you could only actually use 300 amps of those. Because with AGM, you can't run it past 50%. So that's one major difference. So when you look at the amperage of lithium, that's how much power you have. If you have an AGM, divide that by 2. That's how much power you can store. The other main advantage of lithium is that lithium is a lot lighter. So it's about 50% lighter than an AGM. So if you had 600 amps of AGM in here, the weight would be double, and you could still only use half as much. So obviously lithium makes sense in terms of weight and in terms of usage. The disadvantage of lithium is that they're still pretty expensive. I don't know the ballpark figure. I should, I've just bought them, but I don't. But I'm pretty sure like a lithium 300 amp Enerdrive battery is around the ballpark of around $3,000. So they're not cheap by any means.
If that's wrong, we'll clarify that later. But
I'm pretty sure that's about the right price.
It sounds expensive, and it is expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive. But this 300 amp lithium battery, this particular one, this is a new one from Enerdrive. It's only been out for about a year. And as you can see, we've got two of them. All right, two 300. All right, so what does a battery do? Okay, so in our Caravan system, the battery system takes care of what we've got, 12 volt and 240 volt. So the batteries are only run on 12 volt. So 12 volt is like what you have in a car. Okay, so in our Caravan, we've got 12 volt power sources, things like the extractor fan or the lights, these little plugs here where you can plug in your USBs, the diesel heater, that the fan on that runs on 12 volt. So anything that's sort of like a low voltage or low draw in the van, this can run no problem. And if your van is predominantly 12 volt, these batteries may be a bit too much overkill for you. All right. The other sort of power source you have in the van is 240 volt. Now 240 volt is what you're used to in a house. So everything that runs through a power point, the air conditioner, the washing machine, they all run on what's called 240 volt.
Thermomix.
Thermomix, that's right. Now, these batteries by themselves cannot power source through a power point. Okay, so I've read lots of things on forums, and people. I've just picked up a brand new van, I plugged it in, and I have no power. Well, that's because the batteries don't run on 240; they run on 12. So in order to run 240 volt through your power points and through the air conditioning, you need to have what's called an inverter. So we're going to look at that in a minute. Okay, so the batteries have what's called an output. An output is the things that where we use to store up the power. Okay, they also need an input. So how are you going to get the power back into there? So in this particular van, and in most vans, there are 3 different ways that you can put power in. So I'm going to show you that now. Alright, so with any battery system, the most important part is how do you get the power back into the batteries? Because it doesn't really matter. I mean, obviously you're going to take power out, but your ability to put power back in is what's going to enable you to be off-grid longer. Okay, so the first thing, this particular Caravan has 3 main power inputs. The first one is solar. All right, so up on our roof we have 6 170 watt solar panels. Okay, I'm going to show you some footage of what they look like at the moment. So solar panels run on what's called a watt. So a watt basically is the force, so how much power can be pushed into a battery. So we've got 6 170 watt solar panels on the roof. So when you multiply that up, it comes to 1,020 watts. Now that's amazing on a Caravan. All right, so we've got 1,020 watts. And what happens, all that power comes in and it goes through these 2 40 amp solar regulators. Now, the reason that you have 2 of them is that because they can run independently of each other. So we have 3 solar panels on one and 3 solar panels on the other. So what that means is that we can legitimately get up to 80 amps of solar going into our batteries. So that means in 1 hour, you can put 80 amps of power back in. Now, I've never actually seen our batteries put in 80 amps. The most I've seen it put in is 63 amps, which is still pretty good. So what that means is that if we had in 1 hour, we could put 63 amps of power back into that battery. So solar is important. Now, in some ways, I think solar is more important than the size of your batteries, because you can use however much power you want. But if you can't put the power back in, then you're going to fall over. So you may want to run your air conditioning and run your Thermomix or whatever. But if you don't have enough solar, especially when you're off-grid, that's really the only power source that you have. If you don't have enough solar to go back into the batteries, you're going to run out of power. The other way that our batteries can have an input is what's called a DC to DC. Now, what does DC mean? DC means direct current. Okay, so what that means is that if we have another 12 volt power source, we can plug it in, it'll go through this box, and this box will then put the power back into the batteries. So what sort of 12 volt power source are we talking about? Well, the most logical one is our car. Okay, so while we're driving, we can plug our car into the Caravan, and our car can charge the batteries at a rate of 40 amps. So we can take 40 amps every hour from the car into the batteries. So while we're driving, if we're driving on a sunny day, we could have up to 120 amps of power going back into the batteries. So if we were on 0, we could recharge the batteries in 5 hours of driving on a bright sunny day, which really is pretty cool. So we could legitimately run our batteries down low, get in the car, travel for 5 hours, we get back out, we've got full battery, which is really, really cool. Right, now the other way that we can get input into the batteries is through a mains power. So if we go to a caravan park or someone's house, we can plug into a power point, and we can also charge the batteries. Now again, most caravans have this facility, and what you need in order to do that is an AC to DC charger. Alright, now it's different to a DC to DC charger, because DC to DC handles 12 volt, AC to DC handles 240 volt. And the AC stands for alternating current, and that's 240 volt. Okay, so what that means is that box there, it will convert the 240 volt into 12 volt, which the battery can then hold. Now, this particular unit is a 60 amp AC to DC charger, which means it can basically charge the batteries at a rate of 60 amps every hour. Which means, again, if we had zero, you plug into a wall, and we had absolutely no solar coming in at all, we could charge the batteries from flat to full in 10 hours, because our batteries hold 600 amps. This is a 60 amp charger, so we can charge it in 10 hours. So we haven't really used this very much at all, because we haven't really been on mains very much. But legitimately, that's how that works. Okay, so what about output? So we've spoken about 12 volt already. In order for us to power all our other devices, like I said, the air conditioning, the microwave, power points, whatever, we need to somehow convert the 12 volt into 240 volt. And the way we do that, if you want to give me that for a minute, is that we need what's called an inverter. All right, now our inverter actually sits here under the chair. Now this is a 2600 watt inverter. So that means is that we can power in our Caravan, when that's on, up to 2600 watts worth of power. Basically, we've never had any issue at all with this van or our previous van with a 2600 watt inverter. We've had air conditioning running, we've had thermomixers running. We've never ever had a problem with the power tripping. But legitimately, if you do go over 2600 watts, the inverter just trips out and you have to start again. Now, so as I said before, we can all get really, really carried away with battery systems. Come over here, baby.
Closing this up.
Yeah. We can get really, really carried away with battery systems, and we can spend lots and lots of money on, getting the best battery system in the world. And I guess we're pretty lucky in that we do have a pretty good one. But I think legitimately, if you're thinking about getting or upgrading a battery system or getting a battery system in your van, just try to think about what is it that you realistically need power for.
That's it, hey.
Yeah.
Whatever you use, what is the I don't know, a kitchen appliance that you use, or you might just live outdoors camping with the barbecue and cooking on the fire. Yeah. I mean, we're a power hungry family. We have camera gear, iPads, phones, laptops, and then we have the Thermomix and Nutribullet at the toaster. We don't always use the kettle, but it's nice when you can. We treat our Caravan like our home. Yeah, pretty much.
So if we want to charge something, we'll just turn the inverter on and we'll charge it, don't we?
Yeah.
But if you're just going to go away for a weekend, you might have a Jayco, Hawk or a camper van or whatever. Yeah. You probably don't need
something as extensive
as elaborate as this. Yeah. I think if you're living on the road, I think you then start to realise, okay, there are things that we need. I mean, there's a family here at the moment that runs their Starlink internet, and that actually uses up a lot of power. But we don't do that. But I mean, depending on how much power you need, you might need to change the battery system accordingly. But
just got to suit it to your needs, really. I mean, it's not about our power system's bigger than yours. No. It's, what we need for what we need. I mean, originally, I guess, we wouldn't have thought we would need something this big, but at the end of the day, we probably do. Because we charge a lot of things. It's our home, and it's just our house.
But I think if you're looking to upgrade your battery system, and you already might have, 200 or 300 watts of AGM power, and you might not think it's not enough or whatever, what I would upgrade first would be the solar. Yeah. Because the solar is so important when it comes to your battery system. Because the solar, here comes Riley.
Hey buddy, that's all right.
Hey Riley.
Hey, I just need to rest my feet.
Okay.
They're really dirty.
He's been out swimming in the river.
They've been down paddleboarding and swimming and making mudslides down the creek. So
out of everything in our Caravan, I think the solar is the most important, because it isn't so much how much power you use, but it's how quickly you can put the power back in.
Yeah. I have to ignore the noise.
So we've been pretty lucky with what we've put in or what we've got, because I don't know, we get really excited. I'm even now coming in and checking the panel up here and going, oh, we're at 100%.
That's one thing we haven't shown you.
We get excited. Yeah, we will show you that.
Yeah,
we can show you that in a second. But
so I think look at ways that you can put power back into your van. Whether it's more solar panels or maybe another solar regulator or getting an independent solar regulator. Because that is so important when it comes to how you're going to get the power back in there. If you just have a DC to DC charger, think about getting a solar regulator in there, because that then gives you two different ways that you can power your batteries at the same time. So you could, you know, plug your car in, get the solar in, and you could then get the power back in the batteries. But the other thing that I think every caravan needs is you need a way to monitor how much power you have in the van.
One that works really well.
Yeah. Now, that's right. Now, what we have up here is that we have what's called it's a panel that basically monitors how much power we have in the van, how long it will last, and this is the first screen that's on all the time. So what this is saying is that currently in our batteries we have 600 amps of power and they're at 100%. And at the moment, when the batteries reach 100%, they go into what's called like a float mode. And the float mode means that they will alternate between being charged and discharged, charged and discharged. Because batteries like to be discharged, batteries like to be charged. So when it's in float mode, it will charge it, and then it will also then start to take power out and charge it. And that's called a float mode. And that actually keeps the batteries lasting longer. Now on this particular device, if we push that button, so at the moment it's saying that in 1 hour the batteries will be at 100%. But basically it's just saying that because it's actually in float mode. So in a moment, or you may see it may start to discharge. It's basically just alternating. Now this one here tells you that we have wrong one. We have 13.4 volts, which basically means our batteries are full. All right, 13.4 volts. You can't really get too much more power in your batteries than that. So we're at 13.4 volts. We're at 100%. The other thing this little device can do also is tell us how much water we have in our tanks. At the moment, we have 100% in our big tank at the front, 100% in our rear tank at the back, and we have 62% in our drinking water.
And that's because we've just been into town and we've done a couple of trips.
Yeah.
A couple of trips with our water bladder in the back of the car, which has been so cool.
Yeah.
That'll be something we'll throw into another video as well, because it's
been really good.
It's just so easy.
And we also have another great way you can fill your tanks up, which I'll show you next time it rains.
Oh yeah, we will.
Which is really good. So that just about wraps it up here, I reckon.
I think so. Riley's back,
coming in.
which means he's going to be hungry.
Yeah, and all the boys are out there playing soccer, as you can probably hear. But so hope you enjoyed that. We will catch you next time. We love our van, don't we, baby?
We do love our van.
We love our home.
We do.
So we'll catch you later. Say see you later, Riley.
Bye.
All right, we'll see you in the next vid.
Cheers.
See ya.
Bye.